The screenplay starts with Sir Sani, a young and average electric company worker, bringing home his new bride, Suri. He leads a routine life until he attends a wedding invitation from his former teacher, Mr. Gupta, who invites him to his daughter's nuptials. At the wedding, Suri spots Tani, the love of his life, for the first time. Her bright smile and cheerful laughter leave a lasting impression on him. Mr. Gupta informs Suri that the wedding is a love marriage, a growing trend in society. Tani eagerly approaches them, eager to meet Suri, as her father admires him as the ideal student. However, her father often scolds her for not being like him. Despite being nervous, Suri converses with Tani before she rushes off to dance with her friends. Suri stands on the balcony, admiring Tani from a distance, knowing that he will never be able to have her as she is about to be married to someone else. Suddenly, Mr. Gupta runs to the dance floor and informs Tani of something. Tani screams and runs out. Suri watches on, in shock as her father collapses. Chaos ensues as people rush Mr. Gupta to the ambulance. Suri stops a bystander to inquire about the situation, only to learn that the groom and his family have had a fatal accident. The devastating news of Mr. Gupta's health leaves Suri heartbroken as he rushes to the hospital with him. As they wait for the doctor's update, Suri prays for Mr. Gupta's recovery, but the news is not what they had hoped for. The doctors inform them that they did everything in their power, and now it is up to a higher power. In his last moments, Mr. Gupta expresses his fear of leaving his daughter alone and requests Suri to marry her, so he can die peacefully knowing she is in good hands. Though deeply conflicted, Suri agrees to Mr. Gupta's request and becomes the guardian of his daughter, Tani. At the funeral, Suri marries Tani, following traditional customs. As they enter their new home, people are shocked to see Suri getting married, but he closes the door and makes arrangements for Tani's comfort. He empties his room and sets up his bed in the attic, offering Tani the comfort of her new room. As Tani cries herself to sleep, Suri's friend Bobby comes knocking on his door, upset that Suri got married without telling him. But after Suri explains the situation, Bobby becomes tearful and offers his unwavering support. He gives Suri a comforting hug and leaves, leaving Suri to reflect on the events of the day. Suri wakes up to find Tani still in her room. He leaves her breakfast with a note and briefly considers leaving a flower, but decides against it to avoid being imposing. At the office, his friends arrive and announce to everyone that they know about Suri's wedding, causing a commotion. Despite Suri's efforts to stop them, they demand a party at his house. Suri is worried Tani won't like this, but when he returns home and asks her to come out and meet his guests, she surprises him by showing up at the party with a tray of food and drinks in hand, dressed up and smiling. As Tani interacts with Suri's friends, he is taken aback by her transformation. After the party, she speaks with Suri for the first time and apologizes for her previous behavior. Tani tells Suri that she will be a good wife from now on, but cannot love him. Suri replies that he doesn't understand what love is, but to him, Tani's actions at the party showed love. From then on, Tani wakes up each morning to make Suri breakfast and takes care of the household chores. Suri is happy with the change but still yearns for Tani's love. To put a smile on her face, he takes her to the movies, which she seems to enjoy. He even agrees to let her join a dance club she's interested in. Despite Tani's lack of affection towards him, Suri confesses to his friend Bobby that he is in love with her, but she has told him she cannot love him. Suri enlists the help of a friend to make himself more appealing to Tani. He alters his appearance by dyeing his hair and styling it. While styling his Bobby accidentally shaves off his mustache while trying to trim it. Now clad in new clothes and sunglasses, Suri is confident that he'll win Tani's heart with his new look. With plans to surprise Tani at her dance club, Suri heads to the club to watch her perform. However, he ends up being forced onto the dance floor and struggles through the routine. After the practice, the dancers are paired off, and to Suri's horror, his partner turns out to be Tani. When she approaches him, he introduces himself as Raj instead of Suri and tries to flirt with her. However, Tani isn't impressed and leaves without comment. When Suri returns home late, he feigns a neck to avoid looking at Tani in case she recognizes him. He tells Tani that he'll be working late most evenings due to overtime hours at the office. The following day, Raj walks into Tani's dance class with a flirtatious demeanor, and she warns him to keep his distance as she is not interested. Their first dance lesson together goes poorly as Raj is unable to follow the instructor's instructions. Tani becomes frustrated with Raj's lack of effort. Later that night, when it starts to rain, Tani is worried about how she will get home. Raj offers her a ride on his bike, but she refuses to touch him. During the ride, Raj speaks about the rain touching her soul, but Tani becomes irritated when he stops paying attention to the road. After dropping Tani off at her home, when Tani says goodbye, Raj tells her never to say goodbye and that they are traveling down Love Lane, where they will meet again. Tani dismisses his words, but when she gets home, she opens a window and feels the rain on her face as Raj had described. However, her moment of peace is interrupted when Suri comes home, wet from the rain, claiming that there was something wrong with the car. He asks her to close the window, as the water would damage the floor. In the next scene, the dancers announce that the shortlisting for the dance competition will soon start. Raj assures Tani that they will certainly emerge victorious, but Tani is disheartened as she realizes she won't win with Raj as her partner. In response, Raj suggests she find a different partner, believing she is the best and can easily win the competition. Meanwhile, Suri visits his friend Bobby's salon and confesses that he's tired of pretending to be Raj. He had assumed the role to make Tani happy, but it has had the opposite effect. The following day, Tani goes to class and waits for Raj to arrive, but when he doesn't, she obtains his contact information and visits Bobby's garage, as listed under Raj's address. Bobby calls Suri and urges him to show up, saying that fate is now in charge of writing his story and he can't end it until the time is right. Suri meets Tani at the garage, and she reveals that she recognizes his kindness when he suggested she find a new partner and gave up dancing so she could win. Tani offers to help Raj, but only if he promises to practice extra hours each day. Raj happily accepts the deal and they have fun rehearsing their dance moves at the garage. When they audition for the dance competition, they receive a massive round of applause and are selected among the top 10 couples. To celebrate their achievement, Raj takes Tani out for a food competition, and he emerges victorious after eating to their fullest. Tani returns home and eagerly awaits Suri's arrival. When he finally arrives, she greets him with excitement and shares the news that she has been selected for the competition. Suri congratulates her and she mentions she has cooked biryani for him. Despite being stuffed from eating too much to win the competition, Suri pretends to enjoy the meal so as not to disappoint Tani. She reveals that she and Raj had already filled up on food, so she would not be eating dinner. In the next session, as Tani practices her dance moves in front of the mirror, she accidentally bumps into a girl who starts shouting and cursing at her. Tani retaliates, but Raj intervenes and offers to resolve the issue. When he turns around, he is face to face with the girl's partner, a big guy named Tiny. He quickly backs down, fearing for his safety. Tani vents and continues to fume about the altercation after they leave the club. Later, as Tani and Raj are about to leave, they come across Tiny and the girl, Dolly, riding on a motorcycle. In a fit of rage, Dolly shoves Tani off the bike. Undeterred, Tani hops on the bike with Raj sitting in the back and they start pursuing Tiny and Dolly. Eventually, Tani manages to hit them with her bag, causing them to fall into a hot tub filled with red dye. With a sense of satisfaction, Tani warns Tiny to pick on someone his own size. Raj, shocked and surprised, asks Tani how she learned to ride a motorcycle. Tani confides in Raj that she learned to ride a bike by sneaking off with her neighbors. Raj reveals that it's his birthday the next day and asks Tani to spend the day with him. Initially hesitant, Tani agrees after Raj insists and mentions that he usually spends the day alone. They have a fantastic day together, but as it comes to a close, Raj surprises Tani with a grand gesture. He uses his connections at the electric company to illuminate the words "I love you" in the distance. Tani is heartbroken by Raj's confession and tells him she's married. Raj acknowledges this but tells her that his love for her doesn't change anything and they can still be friends. Tani, with tears in her eyes, tells Raj that it changes everything and they can't just be friends anymore. Back at home, Suri notices Tani's sadness and asks her about Raj. Tani reveals that he isn't married, but Suri's reaction leaves her confused and scared. Suri offers to take Tani to a fair he got tickets for, hoping to lift her spirits, to which she agrees. The next day, Tani and Suri attend a Japanese fair. Tani is a bit reserved but she's keenly observing the stalls filled with Japanese artifacts. Suddenly, she notices "I love you" written in lights everywhere she goes, and she's overwhelmed with frustration and pain thinking about Raj. However, when she looks up, she's shocked to see Suri in a ring, preparing to battle a massive sumo wrestler for 2 return tickets to Japan. The conductor even asks Suri if he's sure, but he nods affirmatively. During the match, Suri mimics the wrestler's movements, not knowing the rules of the game. He fights with all his might, shouting in the wrestler's ears and tickling him in the armpits when he lifts him overhead. Despite his best efforts, he still gets badly beaten. But in a last-ditch effort, he grabs the wrestler's leg and pulls with all his might, causing the wrestler to fall and not get up. To everyone's surprise, Suri wins the match and the tickets to Japan. However, when he looks up at the crowd, Tani stares at him with disappointment and anger. When they get home, Tani tends to Suri's wounds but also scolds him for risking his life for something so trivial. Furious at her husband's foolishness, she storms off to her room. The next morning, when Suri forgets his lunch, Tani, feeling guilty for her outburst, brings him his tiffin to his office and Suri's friends are thrilled to see her. She gives him the lunchbox and a small note that reads "I'm sorry." This completely changes Suri's. After Tani shyly walks away, Suri asks her to go see a movie and she agrees. That evening, they go to see a new film together, but Tani watches in despair while Suri thinks she's happy with him. At the end of the film, Suri turns to look at Tani but she's gone. He searches for her everywhere but can't find her. That's when Bobby calls and informs Suri that Tani has come to the garage looking for Raj. Suri is heartbroken, having believed Tani had fallen in love with him, only to find out she's in love with Raj. He dresses up again and meets with Tani, offering her some tea nonchalantly. Tani looks at him with tears in her eyes and asks him how he can be so happy knowing he loves someone who doesn't love him back. Suri explains that love isn't something that hurts and confesses that Tani taught him what love really is. Tani is left wondering what to do next, and Raj tells her it's quite simple. If she sees God in someone, she will love them, but Tani says her life isn't that simple and she doesn't see God in anyone. This breaks Raj's heart as he realizes Tani doesn't love him. He offers to run away with her if she's unhappy with her life, and Tani hugs him, crying and asking to be taken away from the pain. Raj promises to take her away the night of the competition. Suri goes to Bobby's place and shares everything with him, but Bobby is sad for him and frustrated that Suri won't tell the truth to his wife. When Suri admits his defeat to Raj, his friend tries to convince him that his wife fell in love with him, but Suri doesn't listen. Bobby then tells him a harsh truth, that Raj is a man who expresses his love as much as he can, but Suri doesn't have the courage to do the same. Suri replies that he can impersonate Raj, dance and make jokes like a clown for Tani, but he won't change who he is for her. She has to love him just the way he is, an electrician who is quiet and reserved. His love is gentle and slow, and if Tani can't accept that, he'll have to set her free. The next day, Suri takes Tani to a temple. When she asks why they're there, he tells her it's a special day and he wants to pray for her. As Suri prays for Tani to come back to him, Tani prays for God to reveal the deity that Raj sees in her. When she opens her eyes, she sees Suri walking towards her, and everything becomes clear. With tears in her eyes, she touches his feet for his blessing and her decision is made. In the next scene, the dance competition begins and Tani meets Raj on the roof. She tells him she can't leave with him because she finally sees God in someone now, and that Suri was there for her when no one else was. Overjoyed but trying to hide it, he listens as Tani asks for Raj's forgiveness before she leaves to get ready for her performance. Their turn is last, and the host announces Tani's name first. She walks onto the stage in her costume, but when the host announces Raj's name, he doesn't show. The host repeats the announcement several times, and when it appears that Raj won't show up at all, Tani tells the host to disqualify them. Just as the host is about to do so, someone appears that leaves Tani in shock. It's Suri, dressed in a button-up shirt and dress pants, with glasses and a mustache on his face. Just then the host announces the start of the dance, and their performance begins. As they move, Tani gazes into the eyes of her husband, recalling each step she taught him, which he now performs flawlessly. She reminisces about the night Raj hesitated to eat dinner, as he had already indulged with her. Tani also recalls the moment Suri arrived home and covered his face, thinking she wouldn't recognize him. They perform their dance moves in perfect harmony, as Tani realizes the man she loves and the one she is about to betray are one and the same. As the dance ends, the audience gives them a standing ovation, unlike any other couple before them. The curtains close, and Tani confronts Suri, accusing him of lying to her. He stammers in his attempts to explain, but her next words stun him into silence. She tells him how easily he transformed her tears into laughter and sadness into happiness. Tani exclaims how a girl could only dream of a man loving her this much. Suri hesitantly asks if she's mad at him, but she laughs through her tears and hugs him, grateful to have a husband who loves her so deeply. In the last scene, they emerge onto the stage once more. The couple proudly holds the trophy, having won the dance competition and, more importantly, each other's hearts. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. Until next time.